Allegedly, this video is supposed to feature 8 perfect designer fragrances, synonymous with 10 out of 10.
What does that mean?
Well, it goes without saying that my 10 out of 10 fragrances may be extremely different from yours. This is as subjective as it gets. Obviously, this hobby, this art form, is by nature one of the most subjective things you can engage with. Taste is unquantifiable from person to person, and no one can tell you what you should or should not like, not even me. All I do in this channel is tell you what I like and what I don't like, what doesn't move me. But today we're talking about what I love. We've done a video like this already. We did a designer video. You guys loved it. That's why we're back with another one. We did a niche video as well. You guys loved that one too. Maybe we'll do a follow-up to that as well, because I have a lot of fragrances that I love. So what is a 10 out of 10 fragrance? How do I define this for Justin? It's very simple, and this has evolved with time over the past few videos. It was just, number one, the scent is amazing to me, but I have expanded it. Number two, the fragrance has a definitive function for me, a very strong, robust function in my collection. It is a strong contender for a specific type of wearing scenario that I need it for. And what we're adding with this video is point number 3, which I don't plan on just adding more and more and more to this, but who knows. Point number 3 is the X factor. It's the magic. It's the way the fragrance makes me feel when I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it, I'm smelling it throughout the day, and it's catching my interest all day long, or at least all the time I'm smelling it. And I can't describe it to you with words. I'm not dissecting it while I'm smelling it. My fraghead brain is shut off, and I'm simply enjoying it in a very visceral way. And I think you know what it is for you when you experience it with certain fragrances. For me, it is what I've just tried to explain to you, but I can't truly explain it. But each one of these fragrances does that for me while I'm wearing them. And just to let you know, this video is sponsored by my friends and your friends at Max Aroma. Max Aroma has been a partner of the channel for a couple years now. They've sent me several fragrances that I featured for you guys, some of which I really liked, some of which I didn't care for. As you guys know, I'm always honest no matter where the fragrance is coming from. But they've been cool with me nonetheless, no matter what I've had to say. And they asked me if I could do a video just reminding you guys that they exist. But I don't think you need me to do that, because they're a lot bigger than me. Nonetheless, all the fragrances I'm going to talk about today can be found on Max Aroma's website, in addition to many others. If you don't care about these, then there's more to check out, and there's going to be links down below. With all that out the way, let's dive right into it. No particular order, because again, these are all 10s. How do you order perfect fragrances? You don't. First one up, Tom Ford Beau de Jour. This was a gift from a good friend of mine, Frederick. Thank you so much for putting this on my radar. I did a review on it when it came out, and to this day, oh my gosh. Now this is a fougere. This is one of my top contenders for fougères, which has fluctuated over the years. Right now I'm really gravitating towards Fougère d'Argent a little bit more, but that one was in the previous 10 out of 10 designer video, because it's also a 10 for me. But this is runner up to that. Typical, slightly vintage smelling barbershop style men's fragrance. It has a refinement, it has a cleanliness, smells like you're fresh out of the barbershop, that fresh shave, that fresh cut. You got some nice clothing on that fits you, that makes you look amazing, and you feel amazing. And when you spray this on top of all of that, game, set, match, player. There is a strong, clean, slightly soapy lavender. It does have this nice creamy sweetness to it, and it has a lot of oak moss. That mossiness is what gives it a slightly more mature character. So you younger guys, you may not really care for this one all that much, but nonetheless, I advise you to sample it if you haven't tried it already. Max Aroma does allow you to get decants, which is awesome. So sample first. If you consider yourself to have a mature soul, no matter what age you are, you might dig this stuff. This might resonate with you. Very, very refined and sophisticated. Lasts a long time on the skin, dries into this kind of warm, ambery, oak mossy, slightly sweet, but dry depth, incredible masculine scent. Tom Ford Beau de Jour, 10 out of 10. Up next is one of the most polarizing designer fragrances to come out within the last 6 years. I can't believe it's been that long. I don't have anything that smells like this. I've only smelled a few other fragrances that do smell like this, but if I'm not mistaken, they all came out after this one. From Gucci, Guilty Absolute. This was discontinued by the brand, understandably so, This will turn people away and send them running home. But if you're the right person, you'll dig it. This is very medicinal, dry, earthy, woody leather, a little smoky, but there's something smooth and elegant about it. There's something luxurious. It's a very authoritative and confident scent personality. If that's something you vibe with, then you can wear this and rock it with confidence. You don't need to spray much because it will radiate. But if not, it will wear you. It is one of those fragrances. I can guarantee that there's some of you watching this that already know you hate this. And that's okay. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. But if you haven't tried it yet, and specifically because you've heard people say they don't like it, this is for you. Get a sample, see for yourself. Gucci Guilty Absolute. We have a timeless masterpiece. I don't throw that word around flippantly. This is a masterpiece. This changed the game. This was one of those fragrances that within the past 20 years or so really created a shift in the industry. From Dior Homme. This is the 2011 version. The original came out, I want to say 2005. It was reformulated in 2011. I don't know exactly what they did to it because I didn't smell the first one. Maybe they toned down the iris or something, but iris is the definitive element of this fragrance DNA, and it does so in a way that was not really done prior to this, to my knowledge. Putting iris at the heart, at the center, at the front, the face of a men's marketed fragrance,
Crazy.
but they did it well here, and it smells like nothing else that's ever come before, and it will smell like nothing else that comes after. It is truly timeless. Slightly waxy, slightly powdery, cosmetic makeup bag like iris. I'm sure that sounds terrible if you're not familiar, but that is blended with a beautiful lavender, bringing a clean vibe that is approachable. And it dries down to this kind of slightly dry, chocolatey cacao and leather combination that is so luxurious. It is what people might call a metrosexual fragrance. It's for that guy who is very modern, who is clean cut, dresses well, is not worried about being super macho, but still comfortable in his masculinity and wants to smell elegant and wants to make a statement without trying too hard. This is one way to do it. Dior Homme, phenomenal stuff, not easy to find. I did see that Max Roma allegedly has 50 milliliter bottles of this in stock. I don't know if that's true. I was really confused, but there it was on the website. I'll put a screenshot here if it's still there. Do your investigating. Maybe look into that. I don't know what's up with that. I was blown away. So we'll see if that's true. But be careful because you might get the 2020 version. Dior Homme, nonetheless, 10 out of 10 for me. This is also a contender for the type of situation I might wear Dior Homme in. This is perhaps a little less polarizing, a little bit more approachable, but equally as special, delicious. This is like confident guy going on a date, maybe not the first date, maybe second date, or if you already just have a partner, then this is just cuddle material. This is good stuff. This is Valentino Homme, the original, the OG, perfumed by Olivier Polge. Definitely inspired by Dior Homme, but not exactly the same. Definitely some strong overlap. Perhaps maybe redundant to own both in some ways, but they are pretty different. This has an illusion of iris. Technically, there's no iris in the breakdown, but I do get that powdery, waxy, slightly lipsticky vibe, but it is not as apparent here. This is mostly kind of a chocolate nutty feel. There's a chocolate decadence to it with a nuttiness, with some woods and leather. It does smell delicious, but not overtly gourmand. 10 out of 10 for me. Very special fragrance. Valentino Homme. Next up, we have a strong, solid flanker to a fragrance that could be deemed a 10 out of 10. And I was between the two for this video, but I decided to go with this one just based purely on instinct. This is the one that gives me that feeling. This is Tom Ford, yet again Tom Ford. This is Black Orchid Parfum. And I'm sure a lot of you have tried Black Orchid, and especially you guys who've tried it, I'm sure there's many of you who didn't really like it. Maybe there's something about it that doesn't seem wearable to you. Maybe it seems a little feminine. Maybe it seems a little bit too avant-garde, and it's like, what would this make me smell like? How will people think of me when I wear this, when I smell like this? When worn in the right scenarios, especially when you dress it up in the evening, you'll be surprised the impact that it can have. But nonetheless, you want to love what you have on. And for those of you who found the original a little bit too different, maybe a little bit, again, borderline feminine, This might solve that. This is a slightly stronger and edgier version of the original, maybe making it a little bit more masculine. There's a boozy element here that is enhanced. It has less of the floral quality, more of an earthiness. Still a little bit sweet, but that earthy, like truffle oil feel is here in full force, giving it a darkness. Again, this edgy roughness that the original does not exactly have. This is stunning. This is show-stopping stuff. I'm not guaranteeing you're gonna like it, but you might like it more than the original. But if you're asking me, it's a 10 out of 10. Nothing quite like this DNA in general, whether it's the original or this. That is Black Orchid Parfum. Up next is a total classic from the 1990s. I want to say maybe it was 98, from Jean-Claude Elena. Cartier Declaration. This is a sleeper. It had a lot of success. It's had several flankers that have had some success. They're still making flankers to this day, and they're all wonderful. But most people overlook the original. It is, to me, very wearable, a mainstream fragrance, but there's something special here. There's a complexity here. There's a definitive identity that is unlike any other personality out there on the fragrance market. It is an iconic blend of fresh spiciness with a bitter orange, with like leather and woods, maybe a little bit of a floral quality, very, very subtle, rounding it out. But lots of cardamom, lots of bitter orange. There is a fresh aromatic spiciness to it that gives it a lift, that gives it a freshness. But there is depth and warmth here, but it's not overbearing. This is easily signature scent worthy if you love it. And it is so masterfully crafted in such a way that makes it stand out, but makes it very approachable. If you have yet to try Cartier Declaration, do yourself a favor and check it out. It's still on the market for a reason. Next one up here has a beautiful simplicity to it. It is not the most complex fragrance. It does not develop all that much on my skin, but it fulfills the blue category in a way that resonates with me, in a way that's not boring, that's not generic. Nothing wrong with those simple, easy to wear, fresh out the shower blue fragrances. But frankly, after a couple hours, I'm tired of them. I don't want them on my skin anymore. This is not quite like that. This is, for him, Bleu Noir Eau de Parfum. I've talked about this one quite a bit, and it still captures me. As far as blue fragrances go, it's still one of my favorites in my collection. It has that definitive function that I'm looking for. And essentially what it is, it's funny I put it right after the Cartier. It smells a little similar to Declaration, but it is way less sharp, less spicy, smoother, rounder, softer, cleaner, muskier. It smells maybe even a little bit more modern, so to speak, but the Cartier does not smell dated to me. And it's just kind of a simpler version of it. That is the closest profile I could tie it to. It is this modern offspring. Very special, but again, simple. Super easy to wear, has a beautiful presence around me when I wear it. Again, it gives me that feeling. I just feel invigorated, I feel energized, I feel grounded, I feel like myself when I wear this, and it's hard to explain, but I just did my best. Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir Eau de Parfum. And the final fragrance, this is kind of a boring one, but this is one of those scents that I can't seem to get away from. I've loved it ever since I first smelled it. The DNA. I had the Eau de Toilette years ago when I started this channel. Loved that stuff. I said I would never need its Eau de Parfum version because the original was just fine for me. I ended up, for whatever reason, getting rid of that Eau de Toilette. Later, I got the Eau de Parfum, and I love it even more than the original, and it is a perfect flanker. It is a perfect Eau de Parfum flanker. It is a richer, deeper, more thick version, but not necessarily stronger. And Eau de Parfum doesn't always mean that. I do think this is a timeless scent personality, even though it is extremely modern. I believe this will be around for years and years and years, and it affects me in such a way every time I wear it. And I almost am in denial when I put it on because it's so hyped. It's talked about all over the place, and it has been for years. And there's been tons of flankers that are fine, but honestly, this still does it for me. This is still my favorite of the entire line as far as the original DNA goes. This is from Dolce & Gabbana, and it's the one Eau de Parfum. Again, boring stuff, nothing new here, but I cannot deny what this fragrance does to me, and I cannot deny how I feel about it. I've said this many times in videos, but I do think this is a modern masterpiece, and I think it will be around for a long time. Fresh, spicy ginger with kind of a warm, ambery tobacco, a little bit sweet. There's a sexy quality to it, but it's also kind of versatile. It could be date night, it could be signature scent. It has a lot going for it. And again, it just does something to me when I wear it that I can't explain. But I think it's a 10 out of 10. There's really nothing about the fragrance I dislike. It's basically perfect for me. Dolce & Gabbana The One, Eau de Parfum. Boring, but necessary. All right, that's going to do it for me. Once again, all these fragrances can be found at maxaroma.com. I'm going to link to them down below. And it's your turn. Let me know in the comments if there's any of these that you personally give a 10 out of 10 to, or just tell me how you feel about them in general, even if they're not 10s. That's totally fine. Again, this is my taste, and I can totally understand if it's confined within the screen you're watching this on and it does not permeate beyond that. Again, that's okay. But I want to know how you feel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.